Third item on the agenda tonight, pardon me, 1650 Ridge Road Auto Detail Shop, located at 1650 Ridge Road. The applicant, Stephen Schleichel, is requesting preliminary final site plan approval, along with a public hearing, to allow auto detailing to occur outside an existing storage building on a 1.12 acre parcel located in an LC2 low-intensity commercial district under sections 225-16A sub 6 and 228-10 of the Code of the Town of Webster.
Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name is Steve Schlegel. I am the member of Tesley LLC, which owns the property there. I'm also the president of Steve's Cutting Edge Lawn Care, which rents from Tesley the majority of the building there for our landscaping and snow removal. We store a lot of our tractors and stuff like that there for our winter season. We have one of our employees that runs tractors for us that also has an auto detail shop. He does a lot of interior cleaning. He has some high-end cars that they do a nice detail on. They store for the winter, and then the clients get them back out in the spring. He's a relatively small operation, and he does all of his work inside. So we're looking to get him approved to run his auto detail business out of that location. I believe you guys have some photos attached to that application. So the building is sectioned off into a couple different sections. The two bays closest to Ridge Road are the bays we're looking to use for auto detailing. I think it's around 2,600 square feet out of the 9,800 square feet building. And like I said, one of those bays, he's looking really just for storage of vehicles throughout the winter for some of these nicer cars that he has. The way the town code is written, it does not right now call out auto detail shops anywhere. It's lumped in with all the other major, like a Delta Sonic, auto repair facility, and things to that nature. So when I met with Josh, he actually threw some questions, I believe, to the attorney, and also ran it by code enforcement, that it can come back to the planning board that as long as the general use which we're seeking of the auto detailing is not outside of the characteristics of the neighborhood, it's something that the planning board could approve. In my letter of intent, I did pull out some other businesses that are in the area. There is a Vic's Auto Reflection, which currently has, I believe it is a use variance through the zoning board, and they are running out of LC2. There are some other pre-existing non-conforming properties: Wilmus Tire and Auto, Clem's Garage, Moto Option, Costanza Sausages over there, Chamberlain Septic and Sewer, and then there's also some farms in the area too. So I think what we're trying to do is pretty much really characteristic of the neighborhood.
Well, you know, the building turned out nice. Looks good. As far as use, detailing is automotive. It's automotive. There's an automotive that does that on 5 Mile Line Road. I believe also this type of work. I just wish when you came in you were up straight with us, because in minutes you said, that's why we kind of went along with this, you needed that size building to accommodate your tractors. No mention that you were going to convert it into this. However, because you put the bathroom in the middle, kind of made me scratch my head and say, why is he putting the bathroom in the middle of this building as opposed to along the wall? And now I know why you did it. So this was already, you had to have had this planned out.
We actually had the boiler, the whole utility area in the middle, just because radiant in-floor heat, we had to have that kind of centrally located. So our current shop is filled up with tractors, and you know, we're probably going to be to the point in the future that we're needing additional space, and at which point we will take over and use that space there.
Okay. Well, anyways, the bottom line of it is, this board's got to make the determination. You know, is it a similar use that would be allowed in the LC2? that's the issue. The other issue too, I'm going through the minutes, and this is pretty much a current picture of the place? Yeah.
Yes, it is, yeah. I can't remember, the driveway's paved, I don't know if it's paved.
Yeah, it's
The
paved
driveway's
here.
paved,
It's
yeah.
paved here. But you were gonna put landscaping up in the front there, and buffering on the sides, on the two sides, and I guess you were gonna have some plantings. Did you ever put any landscaping in?
I still have to put the landscaping in the front.
I'm sorry?
But I still have landscaping to put out at the street.
That's still to be done?
Yeah, and there is some buffering on the side, and if we add anything else on the side, we've got to cut down a really large maple tree because it's super densely shaded back there. So there's a little bit of buffering on the side and that tree.
Okay, I just kind of disappointed. I would have hoped you would have wanted to do this and said something in the first place. It would have been so much easier. This kind of gives the impression it's like, just keep the building up and then I'll do what the heck I want with it. You know?
Yeah,
And that's why we're here tonight. Otherwise
Sure.
we wouldn't even be here.
And-
We'd have gone along with it, I'm sure.
and my original intent was to add the lean-to this year or next year.
Yeah.
And when we actually went to pick up the building permit, we had everything on there, and the builder said it was going to be cheaper and easier just to do it all at once.
Close it all
So
up.
we decided to do the whole thing all at once, and then knowing we were eventually going to need that space. So.
Okay. All right, anyways, that's where we're at with this. Our charge is to make a determination if it's similar use to what is allowed in the LC2.
Well, I've got several questions. Number one, where are you going to park the cars that are coming in for demo from other dealers?
Great question. So a lot of it is residents of Webster coming. He sets up appointments. So a customer comes, they might drop off a car in the morning. It takes them 2-3 hours to do the car. Once the car is done, he lets the customer know. They come back, they pick it up, and then he might have an afternoon appointment. So we're not talking about 10 different vehicles in there throughout the day. It's, 2-3 vehicles at most that are coming in.
Does he do dealer work?
No automotive work whatsoever. Not inspections.
Does he do dollops for dealers?
No,
Auto dealer, used car dealers?
no, he is not.
Doesn't. Who's he do it for?
Just individuals. Like if you or I have a vehicle they want dialed up and cleaned,
Number one, I would want to see that there is no parking outside overnight for any circumstance, and that all parking be restricted to the front of the building. I noticed you got a large parking area on the sides, which could accommodate a multitude of cars. And I know that dealers sometimes don't have places to park their cars. So we don't want that to be a parking lot for dealers.
we can absolutely put a condition on it for that there's no overnight parking and anything is right there in front. We actually have 20 tractors inside the facility for our snow removal. So that means when it snows, we've got 20 operators showing up there and they all need spots to park. So that's why there's a fair amount of space on the outside of that for parking.
How many people are going to be working in this shop?
It's himself and one other part-time person.
Is it going to be one operator, or is it going to be two separate shops? Or are you going to come back and say, we want to lease this one to this guy, lease that side to the other guy?
It's one business in there.
Now let's talk about materials. Dollop shops, they got a, number one, degrease engines. You got to put degreasers on, you got to blow it out, water. Where's that going?
So everything that he does is basically just a wash and wax on the outside and then vacuuming out Armor All on the inside of the car.
So no degreasing of engines whatsoever.
They don't get into that. It's just simple outsides and insides.
So because there's absolutely no way for these kinds of materials to go anywhere, that would, if we went along with this thing, they would have to be restricted, completely restricted. Those are my concerns.
Okay. Anybody there?
If you're washing inside, where is it going? Like, are there drains on the floor?
There'll be a floor drain. Yeah.
Is there sewers out there, or is it septic?
It's septic.
It's a septic system. I'm looking, going through the list here and trying to find someplace where we can pigeonhole this thing to say it fits. Clothing and dry goods, commercial art gallery, dressmaker, dry cleaner, florist, hardware, insurance, jewelry, laundromat, liquor store.
Upholstery shop is listed.
A what?
Upholstery shop, and half of his work is insides of cars. You know, you bring your love seat with a staying in it to this guy, or a rocking chair, or whatever the case is. I mean, he's doing upholstery. Half of the time he's spending is on the inside of the cars, making the seats and floors and all that look nice.
I don't think that was a designation for an upholstery shop when that was put in there.
There isn't any place,
So the way the town code reads, for LC2, anything permitted in LC1, banks, credit unions, restaurants, communication towers, mini stores.
yeah, I got it right in front of me.
Yeah, and then there's that last one, which is other similar uses not permitted in any other commercial district. On a finding by the planning board that such uses are in the same
And see,
general
there
characteristics.
is permitted in another district, and that's the automotive, that's, you know, see, that's the catch of it, that's what we're, not trying to fight you, trying to
Sure.
work with you.
No, I appreciate that.
See, there's nothing similar, you go to, that's LC1, LC2, it's got a few more things in there, totally dissimilar, you know, to what you've got.
My concern is the waste.
The waste meaning
Like,
water coming out?
You know, chemicals and wash coming off the cars
That's a big concern.
in the ground.
But you can't run, it doesn't, I'm sure you don't run that into your septic system. What do you do? You run, got a drain going out and sheet flow into the yard or something?
Yeah.
How many cars does he actually do?
A slow day's one, a busy day's three.
So there's not a whole lot of drainage going on.
No. And his slowest time is in the winter. You know, his busiest time is in the summer when people really want their cars to look nice. And, you know, there's not a whole lot coming off cars in the summertime. It's not like these are vehicles that are being out mudding and stuff like that with all sorts of sludge coming on. They're, you know, people are paying a few $100, you know, $200 to $400 to have their car, you know, dialed up. You know, they're pretty nice cars coming in there. They've been taken care of and aren't leaking stuff and all that.
What do you fellas think? I mean,
Well, there is a concern about the cleaners.
what's that?
There is a concern about cleaners going up on the ground.
Yeah,
Even
well,
if it goes into the septic system, you know, subsurface.
if it's a
And
few,
what comes to mind with that is the car washes, they have specific systems that they use for recycling. They recycle the wash water, or they send it to a septic system, and they're regulated on that. And just kind of from personal experience, years ago, I went out with car washes for like volunteer agencies, teams, kind of things like that. There was always like pushbacks from the regular car wash companies, that those people who were doing fundraising for car washes didn't have to meet the requirements. This thing being a facility that's specifically going to be washing cars, I think, 1 or 2 a day, it is continuous. It seems like there has to be some provision made for capturing soapy water or whatever comes off the vehicles. It's not just dumping it on the ground.
I don't know what's available for
I'm
something.
not sure that that's something that's code doing well.
All the soaps they're using are environmentally friendly, biodegradable. I did check with him to see what he was using for soap, and it was all biodegradable soap.
I hate like putting something in, I know what you're saying, I agree. But I hate putting something in that you can't enforce, you know? That gains us nothing here.
You know what happened, now we're opening the door for automotive uses in an LC2 district. It's not even meeting commercial, it's LC2. Now, I'm sure
Yeah,
there's
it's
a
all-
lot
it's all-
of owners of LC2 properties that would just love to see this happen. And then, like I said, we open the doors.
What do you suggest doing? I don't know what to do.
I'm against it.
I hate, the only thing, like I said before, not to belabor, I'm just a little bit ticked that you didn't say something up front, what you wanted to do with it, you know, because I mean, the layout of it, you got the bathrooms in the middle, you knew what you were doing with it, you know, that, I just wish you would have been upfront with it from the beginning. But now it's there. Don't like stepping in, you know, hurting them with it, but I'm looking in here, I've gone through LC1, LC2. I can't find anything that even comes close to it.
Like I said, there is a VIX Auto Reflection who currently operates in that area. It's
There's what, I'm sorry?
VIX Auto Reflection. They're right next door to Chamberlain Septic, and they are an auto detail shop, very similar to what we're doing, low volume, very nice vehicles, and that's just taking place out of a residential house with a 2-car garage. That's currently been approved and takes place in the same zoning district.
Is he in the Webster side or
Correct, Webster side.
is he in the Webster side?
Yes,
And he's approved to do it there?
yes.
Through who?
He received a use variance
Yeah,
associated with it
that's-
because it was a major home occupation and he was going to be living on site. So he did get zoning board approval in that particular instance.
So that doesn't mean that it's permanently zoned for their use, if it's a home occupation situation.
It's a little bit different than this scenario, but I just wanted to get it out on the record.
I mean, this is over here.
What do you fellas want to do? Anybody? There's nothing in here that even comes close to relating to automotive. You could suggest to get a variance. It's the only thing you can do.
Or number 2, it's a 2-part test. It's whether it's similar and whether not be detrimental to the other uses of the district or adjoining land uses.
Okay.
It has to be both of those.
The rear of the property does back up to industrial zoning. I did go through the uses of the property. There's a lot of things in there that maybe are no longer applicable to how society is today. Like one of the uses is watch repair. I'm not sure we have a lot of watch repair businesses looking to open up. We're trying to, there's a lot of people out there now that don't have time to take care of their own cars. We're trying to find a way to make it a community business that Webster residents can come drop it off. When his times are slower, we're looking to partner with him, have him run some of our equipment in the winter to continue providing services to customers in Webster with their driveways. But obviously, we got to decide where it's going to fall.
I'm going to stress this a little bit. Let me think. You received an approval, you got a variance to make this storage facility for automotive vehicles. Got motors in it, right? Your tractors? So if you currently have tractors in there, that's automotive use, right? Well, it's automotive.
That's a
It's-
stretch.
Huh?
Now you're really
No,
stretching.
well, okay, let's back up, take the, he's allowed to have tractors in there. So he's allowed to have tractors in there.
For storage.
Yeah, but what happens when one breaks down? You gotta repair it. You don't take it to a tractor repair place, you can have somebody repairing it there. So he's got repair work for his tractors there. Am I going anywhere with this?
No, I shoot
myself
in the foot.
Oddly enough, one of the things on the list,
Huh?
one of the things on the list is laundromat. That would be a facility that would create significant amounts of
Water.
wash water.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right, that's a good point too.
It's a laundromat.
I mean, when our tractors come back from a snowstorm, if it's overnight, not as much of an issue, but if we're out during rush hour, we can't even see out our windows when we get back there, so caked with salt. We do have to do a quick, rinse down with a hose.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Just get the salt off and stuff like that, the
Yeah.
windows, so we can see safely.
I think
Okay.
Dave's point is valid, that this is opening up the door.
Well, it is.
But could the zoning board address that with a variance, or just specific?
You could get a variance. It's a determinate.
Let me toss another point out. if I can.
I think you better keep quiet.
Okay.
Because you're going to get into this thing. You may not want to go there. If he's got storage for tractors and so on and so forth. They're automotive material, right? They got motors in them. And he's got to do repairs on them. He does the repairs on them there.
And clean.
This is strictly just cleaning cars out. Is that a similar use to what he's got approved? I could make an argument and say yes. You're the attorney. Help me out here, help him out, whatever.
Personally, I would refer this back to the zoning board, and if they approve that kind of use, hoorah, for all the LC2 property owners in the town of Webster. That's what I'm going to tell you.
Will this be something we can,
I think this would
Especially
be
use.
prudent. I would agree with Dave. To have it go to the zoning board is, it's very difficult when you start to set precedents in a certain district. And the other thing that I was hearing was about the waste. I think Derek and Dave both said that, and I would agree with that as well.
Yeah, that's
So I
double-edged.
think if it just, what's that?
That's double-edged too, because like you said, when it comes in with the vehicles and they got salt and everything on, they get washed down. Every one of those has to get washed down, so that's normal procedure anyways.
Does it change the picture at all if they're employees of our company, already running tractors and washing down their tractor, and they're the ones that are doing the detailing on the cars?
I think Tony is less about washing the salt off of it and more about if you get into, as Dave was saying, if you're doing a full detail on the car and you're detailing the engine and you're degreasing the engine, that's when it becomes different.
What do you guys think we ought to do?
And how do you regulate that? You don't regulate.
No, you can't.
I say let it go to the zoning board.
What's that? You recommending the zoning board?
Yep.
John?
That's what I think.
All three of you
Well,
guys?
that's a good idea.
Same thing, I guess.
He's not a referral to the board. This application has to be reviewed. Now yet, recourse is then to file.
Okay, so then we'd have to deny his request tonight, and then he'd have to go and file for approval with the ZBA.
Yep.
Josh, you want to weigh in on that?
Well, I think that we're going to be addressing the whole vehicle section of our code during the comprehensive plan process because there's only one district that allows any auto-related uses, and that is the CO district, which is fully built out in a very small portion of the town. We do get quite a bit of requests from businesses looking to locate in Webster, and they ultimately forego Webster because the burden obtaining a use variance is a very high bar, and it's all about financial hardship. And in this particular case, I think he's going to have a very difficult case making that case to the zoning board. There are other similar vehicle-related things in the area, and so we thought we would bring it here under this provision, but again, it's obviously up to the planning board. I do think that we're going to have future conversations, though, about delineating the different levels of intensity with auto-related uses. I don't think it's appropriate to lump them all together because they're not all the same. But unfortunately, we don't have that differentiation in our code currently.
Correct. There's nobody that's been more of a proponent to opening up more zoning for automotive uses than me. In the past, I was in the automotive business. As a realtor, I have calls all the time for automotive use in the town. And we have very, very, very small available properties. This is right to do this in a comprehensive. It's not right to do this piecemeal and do it the way it's in front of us tonight. So, I would like to see that happen, but not this way.
This had a variance for its use, didn't it? Did he need one?
No, I don't believe so. I think he needed.
There was my rear property line, I think I was 10 feet closer to the setback.
But
That was
not
just
very
104.
Yeah, not yours.
So how?
The original purpose of that building was to store this equipment.
Story, yeah.
That's what it was there for, because it was more convenient to have it in Webster, where they had a lot of clients and a lot of customers, than to keep moving them from Ontario over to Webster. So it was for storage of these tractors.
It does fit. That
This is
part does
not
fit.
what we're dealing with.
That's in the code. It says, you know, it's called mini storage or self-storage facility or facilities. That's how that fits.
Right,
That makes sense, yeah.
right.
Okay, so what do you guys want to do then?
I want a motion to die.
If you are, okay, then go ahead.
I'll make a motion that 1650 Ridge Road Auto Detail Shop, preliminary approval and site plan approval be denied.
We have a motion for denial and a second. Yeah. Yeah, probably should put that in there, Dave, it's a good point. Why did you make a motion to deny it? Because it doesn't fit.
It doesn't fit the zoning.
Anything in the LC1 or LC2?
It doesn't fit LC1, LC2, and, you know, it just doesn't fit the use for the property. It was not the intent of the property to begin with, and we definitely don't want to open the doors for future confrontation on this side.
Okay, so we have a motion, we'll need a second.
No second.
And we have a second, we'll have a roll call for this.
Mr. Malta?
Negative.
No,
Mr.
you're in
Coates?
favor of it. You want,
You just
you want aye.
denying it, right?
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
Okay.
your motion is,
aye.
yeah.
Mr. Kosel?
Aye.
Mrs. Wright?
Aye.
Mr. Mixel?
Aye.
Mr. Anderson? Mr. Giardina?
Aye.
Mr. Kashani?
Nay. I believe this thing could be worked to fit. Not saying I like it, I was happy with it, but I think there's a facility there existing with storage for the tractors, which do need repairs, and this would be a minor use compared to repairing tractors and storing them, in my opinion, anyways, but anyways. Okay, I guess,
So just for clarification, is it that it doesn't fit the general character of those permitted in the district, or that it will not be, or that it will be detrimental to the uses within the district or adjoining lands?
well, it doesn't have to be either or, it just doesn't,
One of
it's
those,
not detrimental to other uses in the district because they aren't in the district.
so then the reason it's being denied is because it's not in the same general character as those permitted within the district.
Right. And there's nowhere, you know, in LC1 and LC2, neither of them show that it's an allowed use. So that's, probably have to talk to Josh now, I guess, you know, we set up, get a ZBA appointment.
All right.
I guess by doing that anyways, it would probably clarify it, and so there is no issues in the future if somebody else comes in.
Okay.
Okay,